some pressure. You know what they say? Me and my say, that pressure. 10 on me. Bend weight, flip weight, get paid. Naturally, I don't own the rights to that. Hey, let me. How y'all doing? I'd like to welcome you to another podcast. No Fan TV here, live on YouTube. When you join us, stop by down. When you join us, please hit the like and subscribe button. We want to get that stuff up there. Down. Stop. Good girl. Want to get all those things out the way. Like and subscribe again. I'm your host. Go by New, just simple NEW. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of No Fan Sports Podcast. Yeah, we good in here. Yeah, I think y'all can hear me. I think everything is going pretty good. Yeah, I said this once before. I'm going to say it again. Again, I'd like to welcome to another edition of No Fan Sports Podcast. Doing it live here on YouTube at No Fan TV. I'm your host. I go by New, just simple NEW. It's a nickname that stuck with me. Given to me by a good friend of mine, my man Don Q. May he rest in peace. I don't own the rights to that music, man. Just something. You sitting around prior to you getting ready to do a few things. Just in your group, listening to things that you like, doing things that you like. This is what it is. But we coming to you live. We're gonna just talk about the. This is basically a local setup here. You see the D. I'm born and raised Detroiter, still reside. So just like most folks, man, when you wherever most of the time, man, you're born and raised in a certain area. You grew up with that organization. If you're a sports fan and you follow them, him or her, and you kind of lock hold to them. But here at No Fan, man, this is what this No Fan is about here. Please read that description. Not just the description here, but you go into No Fan, you look at some of the Bible stuff, man. We hear No Fan. We like to believe that we talk about the X's and O's in here. Look, we got a small gray area. Everything's strictly black and white. You got your bromances and your womances and stuff like that, man. You can just leave those at the door. That's not what we're here for. We not here for. We're not here for the love affairs, the Bronnies, the Bradys, all those folks that got these love affairs with these players. Nobody's infallible, but we like to think we have a even dialogue, a nice, even conversation about sports, the players on the level, X's and O's portion, without all the love affair. That's what we go for here. No athlete is infallible. I'm a huge Isaiah Lord Thomas fan, Cowboy fan, several other fans, other individuals. But in the same token, though, reason why we created this thing here at No Fan, we like to create this dialogue so that we all start out on mainstream media. But oftentimes, one of the biggest problems that I have is that you have individuals or you have those labels or those things that's put out there, and everybody just rides with it. So I like to think we at No Fan kind of give another different perspective, some of the inside stuff or just a player trait, not just what mainstream media says about an individual or a player or situation. But things happen, a lot of things we don't know about. Some people have the ability to get inside information and find out what the true issues were. But I like to think myself and some others that I associate with kind of like just, it's two sides to a story. It's two sides to a story. This is just facts. It's two sides to a story. Whether the first side is right or wrong, or the second side is right or wrong, but it's still two sides to a story. Yeah, I'm a two-fister. But that's why we created this here at No Fan. That's why we created this here. This was created so we can have these conversations. We can have these conversations, a good dialogue. We'll talk a lot of stuff. There's nothing wrong with sharing bars back and forth. We want to keep it above board. And most definitely the romances and the bromances. I was engaged in a conversation earlier today via a few FB groups that I am sports related, that I'm in sports related, and had a gentleman said, put out a great post, had some great dialogue, had his facts together, his opinions together, and presented them in a good manner. And right away, you can see the argument that was being presented by the other person. You can automatically see he was a Bronny. This was a basketball related comment or topic, but it was automatic. You could tell my man was a Bronny. He revealed himself shortly thereafter. And this is not to say he's not a good or great player like many people think he is. I don't think he could go. But the Bronny, dealing with the Bronny, that's what you go deal with. You have Brady's, you have several others out there, athletes that can't do no wrong in the eyes of the public. But again, that's what we do here at No Fan. We talk about the things that nobody is beyond approach. No athlete by any means in any sport. So let me get this out the way. We get these little disclaimers out the way. No, excuse me. No Fan Podcast is providing this podcast as a public service, but it's neither legal interpretation nor a statement of No Fan Sports Podcast policy. To reference any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by No Fan Sports Podcast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. Views and opinions expressed by myself are those of my own, okay, and do not necessarily reflect the view of No Fan Sports Podcast or any of its affiliates. Also want to put this fair use Act disclaimer out there, copyright disclaimer under Section 107, Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Okay, with that said, we had the NBA draft recently, and the Pistons picked up a young man. Understand he played played basketball over in France, in the French league, along with our last year's first pick. I don't think they were teammates, but they played in the same division or something like that. But nonetheless, they played ball over in French league or what have you. He was the Pistons' first selection at number 7. Apparently, he was high on their board already. In their opinion, he fell into their lap. I didn't know, and I still don't know much about the young man. I've since the selection, I went and watched like that, and I've read a few articles here and there. To try to get a grasp on what it was that they were seeing and what it was that they liked, and all the above. What I've been able to, well, my own opinion. Let me give you my own opinion. Coach Grant said you played plumbing. That's a solid 5. Solid 5. It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm gonna get to that. I can see that happening too. I can see that. I kind of get it, but let me. I guess let me speak my point on this. All of the moves, or most of the moves, or the situation in itself, Ivy, down. The situation itself is, I mean, I understand. I mean, something need to be done. Some changes need to be made, and I have no problem with that. My only problem with the whole scenario is right now is the release of Woods or letting Christian Woods leave, and I have a few reasons that makes that a major problem in my book. Uh, and I'm not the only one. I'm gonna bring up. It was an interesting article that was written by a young man, a gentleman named Sean Corp, CORP, with the SB Nation. Uh, the article is titled "NBA Free Agency After a Flurry of Moves, the Pistons are right back where they started." I found that to be an interesting article, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think he and I are pretty much in the same neighborhood, or he was right on base on the way I felt about uh, that whole this whole situation. Here's the thing: the biggest thing with me, you have a lot of people already that's comfortable with the move, but they remind me of the Detroit Lions fans that always claim that they're comfortable. You have fans that was comfortable with Calvin retiring and Barry retiring and Sue leaving and different things like that, and they always blame it on the athlete. But to me, this particular situations with the Pistons is the same thing. It's the same scenario with the Detroit Lions. No matter what move they make, you have a lot of satisfied Detroiters. They just satisfied with it. They comfortable. They're right along with it. The problem I had with releasing or letting Wood leave, regardless of what you think of Wood or thought of Wood, and you can put, I've had some people, they posted some numbers and what he put up. When Drummond left, or when they traded Drummond, which I wasn't a big Andre Drummond fan anyway, Wood showed out. And even with him showing out, that was the chatter going on around the league, that Wood was showing out. He's been on a few teams, but the thing where he's one of them players that a breakout player, and you have those from time to time. And I think he had a breakout season and really showed himself uh, last season after the departure of Drummond. And most importantly, he has all the abilities that uh, what the NBA is all about right now currently. The NBA is about stretch, basically stretch at every position. They stretch at every position, 1 through 5. And Wood was a perfect stretch. He's a stretch 4 or 5 guy, 6'10", can put it on the floor, create his own shot, had decent mid long range game. He can shoot it from outside. And no matter what, is he a number one option per se? I think he's more of a strong 2, but he can serve as a 1 in certain situations. But he is a strong 2, a good complementary player that you would keep on your team. And most importantly, he has all those attributes. In the long run, you're going to be looking for players like Woods to be a part of your team, whether he the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 man on the floor. You need those type of players, and he still isn't or wasn't that expensive. What the hell? I'm not gonna go there. But anyway, he wasn't that expensive. You could have got him, for a decent amount of money. It wasn't like he was necessarily getting, 1 tier type money. I just don't understand that, because at the end of the day, no matter what, someone with his abilities is the very same type of player you're gonna be looking for to fill your roster with. Um, mm, mm, ooh, Roy, when you get a chance, I know you're watching right now, but when you get a chance, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sure you can hear me. You can't hear me, but when you get a chance, I'm gonna put this in there. When you get a chance, uh, take a take a look at that article on SB Nation. Take a look at that article on SB Nation. It's a great article. My man hit it in all angles, not just from a fan perspective, from owner, money. He dealt with the whole scenario, the whole draft, trades, all that. He dealt with the whole scenario, and that's why he feels that the Pistons are uh, right back, where they started from. Yeah, he feel like they spent a lot of money and they stuck like they were when Van Gundy, loaded us up with, some hardworking players per se. But in the same token, his scenario was drawn out that the reason why my man has made these moves is because they're actually trying to build with Blake and Rose being a part of the team. And with Wood being here, Blake and the others that they brought in. Okay, I feel you, Roy. I appreciate that, man. I feel you because I'm not saying that he was the end all, salve all, but I just, man, that's the player. That's one of them type of players that you just keep around your team, man. And he just a one of a kind. He wasn't highly recruited or anything like that, man. But you had those guys that just come out of nowhere and just start shining. But I can see it being kind of crowded in there, and you came away with a lot of these centers and it's Okafor and all that. That even the word Okafor being on our roster to me just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Not the fact that I feel like he's one of the many overrated dookies. His game, and he's a dinosaur. The game is stretched, and that's why I was speaking on the terms of Wood. The game is stretched now, so we talking Wood. Wood is a stretch guy. He's a stretch. Every position is stretched now. And and that's going to lead me into the Pistons' current draft pick. They number one draft pick that they decide to select as their point guard, going into the future. Now, I don't know if they actually played together, but from what I understand, he and Sekou played in the same French league together. They didn't play on the same team, but they played in the league. And I think they were actually kind of cool with one another or something or whatever. That's cool too. But what I was looking for a player, and naturally I didn't know anything about him. All I can do is and grade him off the highlights, and from off the highlights of what I watched so far, thus far, I wasn't overly impressed with him. Myself and a good friend of mine were discussing him earlier, and I respect his commentary, especially as far as basketball is concerned. Took a look at him. He kind of reminded him of a super poor man's James Harden wannabe. Southpaw. What I've seen from him, not very athletic. Talky is stop. Blue, leave. Talk is they like him because he's a good defender. Down, Blue. Down. Good boy. I keep my pits with me. But anyway, talk is he's a good defender, athlete. Whatever. But what I seen from him, his game was slow. It was slow motion, and it wasn't overly exciting. Not that you have to be overly exciting. He looks like a decent floor general, but he looks like a floor general from era of basketball that they don't no longer play. To me, he doesn't fit this era. Even as your ones nowadays, you're looking at your ones to do a lot more scoring, not just distributing the ball. You're looking at them to kind of do a lot more scoring. I think a perfect balance would probably be my last. As far as Pistons is concerned, Chauncey Billups was great. Actually, for those of you who are not familiar with Chauncey Billups, he actually turned this game down a lot to be a Detroit Piston. If you go back and look at some of his highlights from high school and college, man, Chauncey was that deal. And he still was that deal as far as I'm concerned. Mr. Big Shot, shout out to him. But I didn't see anything overly exciting. Even his breakaway dunks and different things like that. Just not a lot of athleticism. For me, I kind of liken him to even a super poor man's Ben Simmons without the height and the size. Southpaw. And no true shot. His shot percentage from 3-point range, even though I'm not a big proponent of, I think these guys shoot a lot of more threes than they need to. The mid-range look or game is gone from, the current NBA. And with that being said, my man is not a great threat from outside. And if you look at his shot, to me, it's slow in release. And it's a push. It's not really a great jump shot. It looks kind of awkward. Almost reminds me somewhat of Alonzo Ball with all the chatter around Alonzo Ball and his shot and the way his jump shot came off. So I'm real skeptical about that. And like I said again, most importantly, I really don't understand why you would let Wood go. I don't think you would have had to spend that much money to keep Wood. And Wood is one of them type of players that every team, he one of them players that, depending on where he at, he can be a very valuable point, but he can push some other players. Well, let me look out. This guy pushing for minutes. And again, when he stepped in after the trade of Andre Drummond, you see what he did. He got more minutes. He broke out, and he was actually the Pistons' go-to guy during the tail end of the season before the the outbreak or what have you. So that part, and what I'm seeing in this, and actually this is the real kicker. This is the real kicker. They did add my man Josh Jackson, who was a Detroit native. I think he was a potentially number one selection. I think he went to Phoenix within the top 7, whatever, back in the day. Let's see if we can find that. Let me see if we can find that. Josh Jackson. Real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah. First round, 4th pick back in 2017 out of Kansas. Again, looks like he was born in California. Yeah, born in California, but he spent born in San Diego. Certain name. 8 months moved to Michigan. Okay, but basically Detroit native, Michigan native, Consortium College Prep School in Detroit. Highly talented out of Kansas or whatever. Didn't pan out too well for him over there in Phoenix, but apparently he's since repositioned himself by way of the Memphis Grizzlies in a G League organization. Was putting up some outstanding numbers in the G League. So the Pistons, swooped him up. So I'm looking at him now. Okay, he's reinvented himself. You got Blake. You did bring in the guy Grant, but I imagine you brought in Grant because y'all was in the process of getting rid of Wood or whatever. But let's just say Grant not here and Wood still here. So you got Wood, Blake, Grant, Josh Jackson in here. I'm looking at a lot of young, lively legs, an athletic roster, a roster that can stretch across the board. You can switch across the board. And Wood was making a name for himself. So, again, at the end of the day, that trade don't make sense to me. And I think probably for me, this is going to be one of them show me type of situations. You got to show me that all the moves that you made was what you felt. Naturally, you've already owned it. The new GM, I looked him up. I think they say he was over in OKC. You said he was going to be aggressive. He's been aggressive. But again, if you check out the article that I mentioned with SB Nation, my man touched on every area as far as the conversation, as far as these particular moves, as far as Pistons concerned in that particular article for this particular situation and conversation. So the only part about this current situation where I'm going to keep my eye on it, and that's only because of the acquisition of Josh Jackson. because if he with the numbers he put up in the G League and re-establish himself in Memphis, and he turns back into, you know, what everyone expected him to be, then you may have something. You probably may be able to make me forget about the Wood trade. But as of right now, I'm gonna stand on it. As the young folks say, I'm gonna stand on all 10. Not happy with the Wood decision. Not happy with it whatsoever. Almost tempted not even to pay attention to him. I really like Wood that much, and I really like what he brought to the Pistons. And again, like I said, no matter how you view him, I think that's a player that you go keep on your team because of the current structure of the NBA. Okay, so that's that on that. Like I said again, I'm not big on Killian. We go wait and see what he turn into be, or if he can be who they want him to be. I'm not sure, but I am excited because they at least did break down the wall. They tore down the wall and rearranged the framework from which my man, what's his name, Stu Van Gundy had put up, because he put us in a terrible situation. And it's the job of the new man to come down and tear the walls down and produce a team and his likeness to what he's comfortable with. So we go see. We go see. You know, that's my take on it. Wood, my brother, I love you. I hope you made all that bread out there. I'm glad for you, happy for you. But go pay a little host to our sponsors out here as well, though. Hey, look here. It's a nifty little gadget here. It's a 3-in-1 keychain here. It's called the Monk's Key. The Monk's Key serves as a bottle opener, door opening, and stylus. You got that COVID going on out there, and it's real nice. You be safe. Be safe out there and make sure, you know, you don't have to touch any things if necessary, but just to show you, you know, oh man, screen too light, but you can see it right there. Stylus works. Great keychain. Hit me up. It's called the Monk's Key. Just inbox me if you're interested. Take a look at it. Nice, sturdy keychain. Again, I'm the host. I go by New, simple NEW. Maybe my boy Don Q, rest in peace, man. I'll get back at y'all. Peace.